All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the intro of the speakers for Intentional 2026 Intentional Leadership Conference. My name is Candace Miles, but I go by Coach C. I am the founder and CEO of No Gap Consulting, where I am assisting you, yes, you watching, who is a leader who just stepped into leadership for the very first time with the confidence, the skills, what they need. But listen, I'm not going to go all into that. It is literally about introducing my speakers for ILC 2026. If you're ready for that, go ahead and put an emoji in the comments below, whatever emoji you want to do, a car emoji. Let's go with that. Put a car emoji down. But before we get into anything heavy, I'm going to do a quick road trip check. As you see, I'm not here by myself. I'm here with Sydney. Hi, Sydney.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
All right. Before I get into anything super heavy, I just, like I said, want to do a quick road trip check-in with you. Let's just say if leadership was a road trip for you, what's your current situation right now? Are you a full tank? Are you low gas? Has your gas light been on?
I would say if it was a road trip, I just got a full tank. I just fueled up, just figured it out, but I'm just now, beginning the road trip, maybe 8-hour road trip. I'm hour 1, hour 2 in to where I ideally want to be.
Okay. And now are you driving with your music up? You driving in silence? I always like to hear
I talk all day as a therapist, so I do like to drive in silence. But if it's a long road trip, I'm a podcast girl. Love listening to just different things that can uplift me, keep me distracted. But I do love my music, some R&B, some gospel, whatever keeps me in the mood.
Gotcha. You sound like that's I'm heavy on the Beyonce when I start off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's mixed Beyonce because I know some people are like, I like old Beyonce, not new Beyonce. No, I like both.
Yeah. I think there's hits from both. Definitely hits from both.
Yeah. All right, you guys. So intentional leadership, it isn't about pushing harder. It is truly about deciding ahead of time that your mental health matters. And that is what we are going to be touching on with Sydney today. And so, Sydney, I want you to talk about, like, from your work that you do, what's one of some of the early signs of burnout that Black women leaders don't necessarily recognize, or they dismiss it altogether, that we have been conditioned to push through?
Yeah, I think some early signs of burnout can also just look like emotional numbness for Black women. I think stereotypically and historically, our strength is seen as just as overlooked. Our strength is overlooked as like we're professional, we're getting through it, we're competent, we're persevering. But also that strength can be burnout. It's kind of the idea of like, I'll deal with it later. So instead of like feeling overwhelmed, you just kind of stop feeling it all. So that way you can be perceived as strong. You can, you just cope by kind of shutting down some of the emotion. So that way you don't feel like you're about to fall apart. So some of the burnout can sometimes not feel like burnout. It just feels like I'm strong. I've got this. I'm pushing through. I don't want to really think too hard on it, because if I really think too hard on it, I'll realize exactly how overworked I am.
Yeah. That emotional numbness, like as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, and even too, like for me, as stepping back into leadership in retail, that emotional numbness is a real thing right now. And like you said, we've been just conditioned to push through it. And even to the point now that I'm older, recognizing that, oh shoot, this is an early sign, because like my back, a few weeks ago, like my back, I started feeling like it was numb. And I said, whoa.
Yeah.
That is that chronic stress that is kicking in.
That's feel it in the body.
Yes. And like you said, like those early signs are always there. What would you say, like, as far as like a mental or emotional weight that, because I do feel like when it comes to Black women leaders, we are high performing. Yeah. We're very high performing leaders, are high performing just in general, that commonly carry this invisible or this visible that isn't really visible to colleagues or to even our allies. So I say all this to say is like, what mental or emotional weight do you see that we carry commonly?
Yeah, I think it's just the weight of having to exist in these spaces, and exist safely and exist effectively in the spaces. I kind of see it as like maybe other, ethnicities or other, races will just have your one job of being a leader. But Black women and other minorities, Black and brown women even, have two jobs. We have a silent job of also managing perception while we're leading. So that's, tone. So am I saying this clear? Am I being too aggressive? Have to be aware of what I'm saying, what I'm doing all times, like representation fatigue. So am I, I have to wear the brunt of all Black women as I go into this room, because if I do something wrong, it represents all Black women, and so you have this second job of like, I'm managing the representation, I'm managing, perception, but I'm also leading. And that's where burnout can come in, because you're doing two jobs at one time, and maybe even some more if we really, dove into it.
Yeah. Yeah. When you sit there and said like we're carrying the weight of everyone, I was just watching, it wasn't Oprah's. He was the guest speaker. Oh, it was TD Jakes. It was his podcast, Next Chapter. And he had Oprah on there. And she had quoted Maya Angelou. And she said, as you walk in the rooms, oftentimes you are as one, but you're not. It's 100,000 that is walking in there. Yeah. Girl, that weight is heavy.
It's like heavy. Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot.
It's a whole lot. And like you said, that silent job, I'm happy that you're putting wording to that, because that's absolutely what that is. It is a job. It's an additional job. Like I'm doing the job, but I'm also doing the job.
Yeah, I'm doing something else on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think when it comes to Black women, like so many Black women wait until their breaking point before seeking support?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to like the burnout stage of like our strength. Our strength as Black women are very strong. We're, like you said, we're very competent, very professional, can do all of that. But our strength is rewarded more than our vulnerability is rewarded. So, she's low maintenance, she's reliable under pressure, she can handle anything. Like those are great, compliments, great things to put on a resume. But when you really look deep down underneath it, like us needing to be strong means that we're also not seeking support. It's this idea of like, I'm doing good, so therefore I don't need the support. But if I do ask for support, now I'm struggling. And so it's this idea of like, I'm professional and competent because I don't need support. But if I ask for support, I'm incompetent. I don't have the readiness and some of the fear of like the balance. There's very little in between for that. And I also think it's just the stigma of our culture of needing help is also seen as a weakness. I think over the last few years, maybe 10, 15 years, mental health has increased in the Black community, because we're also seeing like we need a space to talk about things. We need a space to open up. Like it isn't just pray about it and it'll go away, or ignore it and it'll go away, because it doesn't go away. It sits in our body, comes out as, comes out as anxiety, comes out as anger, comes out as, our generational trauma. It all is going to come out regardless if we want it to or not. And so I think now it's being normalized that we can talk about it in safe spaces. Maybe we can't go to HR because of, how it is, and just maybe the discrepancies with it, or EAPs and insurance is able to kind of, see what we're talking about. But we can go to, safe support. We can go to, a therapist who we're talking to and who can understand. And I think as there's more, Black women therapists, becoming therapists, I think there's a safer space for us to be able to talk to someone who can listen and who can understand, and isn't just showing us sympathy, they're showing us empathy as well, because they can understand exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I would say to that, like also giving you the tools.
Yeah.
The tools that we didn't necessarily know we needed. Now that we know better, we're doing better type thing. And the workplace even though we're doing better, the workplace expectations that contribute to that has not changed on there, you know, or even attempted to change in a sense of all these articles. I remember just reading all these articles of how it talks about how Black women are on the glass cliff and how it's a real thing as far as being ambitious but not supported. That's support. That's a lot that I'm hearing, and it's not just for Black women. It's also too for brown women too, where that experience of not receiving that support as we are navigating through these workplace expectations that oftentimes, if I'm real, are unrealistic when it comes to the climax and everything that we're in. And so I know you said like mental health, that we're starting to normalize it, and you know, it's more people, and I'm happy that starting to see more women that are in your industry that look like me. A lot of times I know one of my friends who is a therapist too, where she also was in leadership. So she also got, you know, both sides of it to understand exactly what that is without giving away too much, because listen, I'm gonna plug it here. That is what February 6th and through 8th is all about for intentional leadership. So she's not gonna give all her strategies away. You gotta come get your ticket for that. But what kind of mindset shift do you see that changes how stress shows up for Black women in leadership?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely we'll save some of the good stuff for later. But a mindset shift is really just shifting from like my capacity, my experience, what I can bring to a company is my worth. Shifting from that to my humanity is non-negotiable. Like me as a person, I'm going to set those boundaries, and you can't tell me, you know, that I can't. You can't. I'm going to, you know, put these parameters in place to protect myself, to make sure that I'm safe, to make sure I'm emotionally safe, physically safe. And my humanity basically is not negotiable, and shifting to that identity and that mindset. And, you know, we'll talk about how to do that practically, you know, during the conference.
Yes. See, she didn't give me too much. She just did the little sprinkle, what they do all this, you know, the little seasoning, just a little bit. But you definitely are going to have to get your tickets to hear more tools that she's going to be able to bring, and the value that she's going to add. Intentional, it truly is about being intentional outside of the title, because as she said, humanity is a huge part of it. Even with the evolution of AI, that part is never going to go away. It being empathetic, but also to taking care of our vehicle, which is ourselves. Before I go, I'm going to end us with another road trip thing, because we're going on a road trip. We are going on a leadership road trip in February. What happens when you never stop? What has happened to you when you never stop to check your map that maybe somebody does not know about?
If you never stop to check your map, you're going to get lost. You're going to get distracted. It's like setting short-term goals to make sure you hit those points that you want to hit. If you just have one long-term goal, if I want this in the next 20, 30 years, you may not get there or you may take longer to get there because you didn't go the fastest and the most effective route. And so short-term goals, checking in on yourself, making sure you're going in the right direction. You're not allowing different traumas to push you off your path, or different experiences, different coworkers, making sure you're following the best route for yourself, so that way you can get to where you want to get.
Yeah. All right, y'all. That is all you're going to get. Because if the conversation feels unfinished, that's on purpose. It's intentional for it to feel unfinished, because the rest is going to happen in the room. Again, February 6th through the 8th is Intentional Leadership Conference. It is not just, it's not your normal conference. I'm going to sit here and say that, where you just come and we give you tools and then you leave all amped up and hype, and then Monday you feel like you're going right into the same rhythm. No, we are actively doing the work while we are in the room for those 3 days all together. And get your tickets. That's all I'm gonna say. Is get your tickets. All right. So that is it. And that was our mental health. She will be talking on mental health in the conference. Outside of that, you guys, like I say all the time, the future, the road to the future, it starts with us. See you next week.
Thank you.